It's been 10 days since Jorge Messi, the father of Lionel Messi, passed away at 68 following a long, undisclosed illness. He passed away at the Sanatorio Central Hospital in Rosario, Argentina. When we talk about Lionel Messi, we talk about the goals, the trophies, the records, and the moments that made football history. But behind the greatest footballer of his generation, there was a father who stood beside him from the very beginning, Jorge Messi. Jorge wasn't the one scoring the goals. He wasn't the one lifting the trophies. But he helped make sure Lionel had the chance to do both. From a young age, Jorge recognized something special in his son. Lionel wasn't simply a boy who loved football. Football was everything to him. Jorge supported his passion and helped guide him through the early years of his career at Newell's Old Boys, where Lionel's extraordinary talent began attracting attention. Then came one of the biggest challenges of Lionel's young life. At around 10 years old, Lionel was diagnosed with a growth hormone deficiency, and his family faced the difficult reality of expensive medical treatment. For Jorge, this wasn't just about football anymore. It was about his son's future. And when Barcelona offered Lionel the opportunity to move to Spain and join their famous academy, La Masia, Jorge made the life-changing decision to take that journey with him. Leaving Argentina and moving across the world wasn't easy, but it opened the door to a future that would eventually change football forever. At Barcelona, Lionel developed from a talented young boy into one of the greatest players the world had ever seen. And throughout that journey, Jorge remained one of the most important people in his son's life. He helped manage Lionel's career, represented him, supported him through difficult moments, and remained a constant presence behind the scenes. But Jorge Messi's contribution to football goes beyond simply being Lionel Messi's father. Through his son, his family, and the journey they shared, he became part of one of football's greatest stories. A story that began with a young boy in Rosario, a boy with an enormous dream, and a father who believed in him. Lionel Messi would go on to win league titles, Champions Leagues, Ballon d'Ors, the Copa America, and ultimately the FIFA World Cup. He would score hundreds of goals and inspire millions of people around the world. But every legend has a beginning, and sometimes behind that beginning is someone who never needed the spotlight. Someone who simply stayed beside the dream. For Lionel Messi, that person was Jorge Messi. The world remembers the name Lionel Messi. But behind the legend was a father who helped him believe that the dream was possible. Jorge Messi. Not the man who scored the goals, but one of the men who helped make them possible. Jorge, you will always be remembered for your contribution to the football world.